Hey everybody, Vaughn here with the Vonster vlog, and welcome to day 53 of a year of yoga. Trying to figure out how to properly use my equipment, but we'll figure it out. So apparently, last night was the full moon. I thought it was tonight, but last night was the full moon, and I'm wondering if that was the first night of the full moon, or I don't know. I mean, I know it's only full for one night, but there's it looks full for about 3 nights. And so we did get some wonderful uh, moon gazing in last night because the clouds before the storm coming in were so pretty. And then we stayed up late watching. Like, the lightning was intense, but the storm itself was not devastating. Like, it was a very calm lightning storm, if that's a thing. So we are actually going to be doing, for the first time, I have never done this before, a moon salutation. So this is supposed to be a lot more restive and restorative than a sun salutation, but I figured, what with it being close to the full moon at least, my timing's off, but my intent is there. So we're going to start in star pose with our hands on our hips. So I'm going to bring my feet out just a little bit, have my feet parallel, like my toes pointing to the edge of the mat, parallel to the ends of my mat. And I like to just radiate and open my heart in this posture. I want to thank you guys so much for joining me here today. I'm very excited to be on this journey with you guys. And now I don't think this is typical, but I do want to get a nice bit of a forward fold in here. So I'm going to inhale, lifting my chest, and exhale, hinging forward at my hips, bringing my hands to the mat. And I'm just swaying my hips from side to side, just starting to wake everything up. Then I'm going to bend my knees and roll back up. Let's step our feet together, bring our hands up. I'm going to make pew pew fingers, and the rest of my fingers are interlaced with my thumbs and forefingers extended. Inhale and to the left. Well, to the right, stretching the left side body. You can look down at the ground, or you can look up at the sky, or you can just look straight ahead. Really extending through those fingertips. Come back up. Inhale and exhale to the other side. Get some nice deep breaths here. Before coming back up, you could alternately hold on to a strap and do towards the sides. I feel like that would have actually been a little bit better for me. And then up next, we are going to come back into a very wide-legged posture. We want to make sure that our knees are traveling down over the center of our feet. And we're going to bring our arms up and back into goddess pose. And while I'm here, I really like to practice that anterior and posterior tilt of tucking my tailbone under and just hold this position while we move our arms, exhaling our arms down our back, inhaling our arms up in front of us. One more breath here. There we go. Hold before we come up into a 5-pointed star. Just feeling as though we're being pulled through our fingertips and the crown of our head to grow up and out, but grounding through our feet. Really moving that breath as we pull it into our bodies and push it back out. Let's let our breath be a really strong tide today. And now from here, we are going to grab a couple of blocks to bring the ground up to us. But I'm going to bring my feet back to, well, I just blocked the view back to pointing towards the edge of the mat, so parallel to the ends. And I'm going to turn my right foot out at a right angle. I'm going to bring my arms up, lift my chest as I extend out over the right, and then hinge over into triangle pose. Looking up towards the sky as I breathe. And then coming down, bringing, I want to grab another yoga block. There we are. Bringing both of our hands to the mat into triangle pose, or pyramid rather. Really stretching into that hamstring, and you can even turn your back leg in a little bit if that's more comfortable for you. And explore with your blocks here and see what a good height is. And don't forget to breathe. Then we will start bending our front knee, stepping our left foot back just a little bit more. And let's lower that back knee, coming up into a low crescent lunge. And let's do exalted arms. So bring our arms up overhead, leaning back, really getting into that hip flexor. And then bring our hands back down to the mat. And from here, I am just lifting and turning my left leg so that we are now in a side lunge, really stretching that inner thigh. And then from here, let's bring it into the middle, into a garland pose, or a yogi squat. And I'm just going to shift from side to side, finding my balance in this position before raising up and out, like a turtle coming out of its shell. And now let's step a little wider, off to the left, and coming down into a side lunge, stretching out our right leg. I don't want to forget to breathe here. Just because it's new and unfamiliar territory, let's bring the familiar with us, and that is our breathing. Then I'm going to come up and out, rotate myself around, lowering my right knee, making sure it's good and comfy before I come up into an exalted low crescent lunge. A few more breaths here before we start to come up and out of it. And I am going to go ahead and get my blocks in position as I lift up and push back into pyramid. So really extending myself over that front left leg. Before a few more breaths before we transition into triangle. Adjusting that back leg to be parallel to the head and foot of the mat. And then let's reverse it up into, ooh, not falling over, into a 5-pointed star. Grounding down through our feet, stretching our arms and our head. Stretch and pull your body in a way that makes you feel like you'd be just a little taller when you're done. A little taller, a little longer, just making space in all those joints and connections of our body. Now from here, let us lower back down into Goddess. I'm actually going to do a little bit of a dynamic stretch here, so I'm pressing my hands into the tops of my legs and then stretching my left shoulder in for a breath, and then my right shoulder in for a breath. And then we can come up, inhale, and exhale down and back, Goddess pose. Once more, I'm really shaking. There we are. As we rise up, bring our feet back together. I am going to grab my strap for this, just because it was a bit too challenging for me having, oh, come on, words, having my shoulders bunched up by my ears. So I'm just wrapping the strap around my hands, a little wider than shoulder width. We bring our arms up overhead. I'm bringing my feet together and extending to the right. Really stretching that left side body. And then coming back up. Inhale and exhaling to the left. Before we bring it right on back up. Spreading our feet a little wider than hips width distance again. Placing our hands on our hips. Inhaling and exhaling before we hinge forward at the hips. Bring our hands to the mat. Nice, deep, peaceful breath here. Maybe rocking a little forward and back. And I'm going to squat into one more garland pose. Before rising back up. And there we are, guys, day 53 of a year of yoga. Thank you so much for joining me here today. Let me know how you're doing down in the comments. And we are just going to keep on keeping on, y'all. So until next time, keep on keeping on.